Some analysis is joined by Louis Herns Marcelin, who's Director of the Global Health and Society Program and Associate Professor at the Department of Anthropology at the University of Miami. Sir, thank you very much for being with us. I'm wondering at this stage what you think the effect of this might be on Haiti.
Well, it was a bombshell because the population itself is what is scared. They withdrawn to their private space at home. The situation, the political situation is so fragmented, and the current gang violence that have been going on in Port-au-Prince in particular and has metastasized, to and extended to the rural areas, and people are scared, and they have anxieties, and they don't know precisely where did this come from. Although also we can say that this is a kind of this is not too much a surprise. And it is not too much a surprise because Haiti, during the latter 2 years, Haitian actors, political actors within the government and outside the government, including the private sector, people have been using gangs for political gain and for, political scores or for settle, issues between them for a long time.
There's talk. Sorry to interrupt you. There's talk of mercenaries being used to do this. I mean, obviously, the gunman claiming to be from the US DEA. I mean, that's been dismissed as basically a ploy to get into the premises. But mercenaries and highly organised gunmen, who do you think could be behind this?
Well, it won't be prudent to speculate on who is behind it, because we know that former President Jovenel Moïse had a lot of enemies. He made himself a lot of enemies, and he was living, in a very dangerous, fashion in terms of the way that he has provoked, his opponents and the way he has responded to the different crises that have affected the country. We cannot say precisely, because some people also say that they heard those mercenaries speaking the Spanish. But also we have to know, Haitians speak English, Haitians speak Spanish. Many people in many sectors, they speak many languages in Haiti. So it's the language indicator is not enough for people, to make a clear conjecture on what had happened. What we can say, however, is that the politics in Haiti has been organized have been conflicted with criminalization. So criminal gangs and political actors have conflicted, and they have joined their energies in contradictory fashion. So as a consequence, you have a situation in which that there is no clear assessment until there is a serious investigation that is done. There is no clear assessment as to where this comes from. But we know that because of the process of violence that have been unfolding in the country during the latter three months, and particularly the latter 3 weeks, this was the kind of logical consequences.
Final question, sir. Is this going to lead to dangerous instability going forward?
It is going to be, because one of the biggest problems that we are facing in Haiti is that the very institutions that could assume the transition have been destabilized. For example, we don't have a judiciary. We don't have the head of the judiciary because that person died about 3 weeks ago and was never replaced. And they were under attack by the government itself many times. We don't have a parliament. The parliament has been dismissed about 2 years ago. We don't have traditional instances that we could think about that could be the transitional instances. We don't have a strong civil society. So the situation is that even the government, the acting government who is there, is a illegitimate government. He hasn't been sworn and just named, and hasn't been sworn, and you have practically 2 prime ministers, attempting to give order to a system, a police system, because we don't have an army, a security apparatus that is already weakened because of the gangs in the street,
Louis Marcelin, thank you very much indeed for joining us for that insight into